Hi everyone, welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, episode 36, and we're still in the part that only plays when Akito chooses not to give the letter back to Hikari. And in this part, we got to see why they kind of broke up, and it's because Akito felt deceived from Hikari. So he realized that Hikari knew about the dam in the train project all along. So even if the dam did not get built, the train line would have closed anyways. And he got so mad that he ripped up the observation journal that they've been working on. And it was really devastating to even Saya, because it was astronomy that brought her together with everyone else, especially Hikari and Akito. And Akito now regrets his decision to rip up the journal. And now in present times, Saya tells Akito to promise that even if anything happens, he will not quit looking at stars and once again become the astronomer who never looks at stars. And I'm sure Akito's like, well, I think Saya wants more than that. But that's all Saya wants. So let's see what happens next and what item did he find for Saya. So he's like, I found it! So what is the I found it? Oh! The Winter Abereo! Oh, so after all these years, it is still there! I can see where we used a telescope to look at many years ago. Our first stars. And they look extra beautiful tonight. So her Tyrian blue and orange eyes shone under the street light as bright as the stars. She turned her head away as she began to blush. Come on, let me look a little bit longer. I placed my hands on her cheeks to stop her. Or I think Akito's referring to Saya as like, oh look, I see the Winter Abereo. And do you remember that? The very first stars that you looked at? She said, smiling, but still embarrassed and crying. Her mouth was squished between my hands, puckered like a slit octopus. Hikari and I were like variable stars who never maintained our brightness. But Saya, she was always like a clear, beautiful, bright, shining star. And just like the Winter Abereo that shines brightly through the winter sky. So now it's winter, and that was around the same season that they looked at these stars. Well, I promise you, I will never stop loving the stars anymore. I'll never forget the first time I laid my eyes on the Winter Abereo. Even I could promise something like that. That's good. I had tried for 4 years now to forget about it, but had never even come close. So despite his decision to quit looking at stars because of his anger with Hikari, it was hard to turn away from something that he liked from the roots. So she relaxed and smiled through her still puckered lips. I couldn't help but smiling back too. And with that, the two of us started walking again, faces beaming as if nothing had happened at all. That's good. I'm sure the only reason we could talk about this stuff is because we known each other for so long. So are those tears of joy then? So you should wipe your face then. I brushed her tears away with my hand, and it looked like it tickled, but she didn't stop me. Well, I still don't get it though. So what does he not get? So why Hikari would say something like that? So why would she lie? So Sai tilted her head to the side, looking perplexed. So back when she told me she was sick of stargazing. Oh, that sentence. She had never actually grown tired of it, right? Well, I guess there's no point in thinking about it, though. I'm sure it was just her saying something on a whim, like always. Like, well, Hikari doesn't really speak the truth. She likes to talk all sorts of nonsense, and we can even see it today. With Hikari trying to tease Akito over lots of stuff. So what kind of reasons? Her reasons, huh? If that is the case, I'll have to try and squeeze it out of her before she leaves the country. Or maybe if I read that letter, I'll find something. But she told me not to read it until she said so. Well, I don't think the letter has the keys to that statement. And with that, the two of us continue walking Kotaro in silence. Okay, so we are back at this train car, or the secret base. Okay, so I think they're cleaning out the train and get rid of all the things that they don't need. So Hikari took out a cardboard box from the train and placed it on the platform. It was filled with books, broken toys, strangely shaped stones, acorns, sticks, and an assortment of other junk. Well, it's like, it's been many years since you've kept this stuff in. Now looking back at it, it's like, what's this for? So all the junk was stuff like three of us had brought here. And most of it was just random stuff like Hikari would find and would say, "Wow, it's a treasure!" So I wonder if the train car is now clean and it looks like the same as it was when they first found it. Well, yeah, it's just all the stuff I left behind anyways. Today, all available Six Stars Club members had gathered to help clean up our secret observatory. And we were getting rid of a lot of stuff, along with sweeping, wiping, and making the place nice and clean. Okay. And once that was done, we were going to bring in blankets, cushions, paper cups, plastic, dinnerware, and other tableware. So now it's going to look more like a place for other guests to come. So we'll do everything we could to make it comfortable and cozy. And it was all in preparation for our big event. So, looking from the inside, looks like the train is still kind of dirty. You can see some other things in there. So Noriko had been trying to wipe the windows clean with a dust cloth. Well, I think there's rust on it, and that's why it's making it hard to clean. So as long as dirt doesn't come off on your hands, a little cloudiness in the windows should be fine. It's like, well, there's no way we can clean this perfectly and make it look like new. So everything else had been cleaned up. And it looks like we can still see some trash in there. So the seats were fabric, though no one wiped down wasn't, or like one quick wipe down wasn't going to be enough to get this clean. So probably just cover them with some sheets before we use them. So originally we were going to use a tent instead, so this place was really coming along, even if it was a little rough. On the other side of the window, Noriko was cleaning. Hikari and the others were still playing around with the junk. And I wonder if that stuff was what Hikari brought over many years ago, and now she can't recognize it. So I wonder if Hikari gets along with her sister. Oh, come on, don't remind me about it. It's kind of embarrassing that I was crying a lot. But wasn't it good memories that you pretty much freaked out? Okay, so back in the train, it's like, how long are they going to keep goofing around? It's going to get dark soon. Well, I had hoped to get all the cleaning finished today. I'm sure it's going to take more than one day to clean all this stuff up. So Noriko watched Hikari goofing around with a strange sort of intensity. Wait, what? So she always been like this. Always cheerful, excited, with nothing to hide. She was the very definition of a happy-go-lucky girl. It's like, well, that's how Hikari is, if you know her very well. But Noriko seemed pretty surprised by my reaction. Wait, so what's she like at your school then? Interesting. Well, are we talking about the same person? I'm sure it is. Wait, that's impossible. Well, I don't think Hikari likes the student council, and that's why she's all quiet. And I have a feeling that Hikari's sister made Hikari go to the student council because, well, new life, forget about your old times, look forward to a new life. Hikari? Cool? Well, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. So the Hikari I knew was kind of person who purposefully ignored the mood and did things her own way. So what was she pulling at her new school? Well, anyone from the Mikazuki village would have assumed she was up to something. But then again, I hadn't heard from her after she moved. And even after we met again, she just seemed like she always did. I never noticed anything different. That's true. So Noriko said nonchalantly and went back to cleaning. And she is still trying to remember all those old junk that they brought. She's like, hey, look, Saya, do you remember this?
ページがあったんだよ。それ見てアキトが。
And I used it on Akito. Ha ha ha.
そうだ、アキトくんが時々こっそり一人で見てたやつだ。そうそう。アキトってむっつりだよね。
Well, I feel like it's more Hikari trying to probe Akito.
光もそう思う。思う。だってあいつさ。
Well, of course. Hey, now, so stop goofing off. And I'm sure all they're gonna do is like, no, you didn't see anything, you didn't hear anything, so we won't do anything goofing off.
アキト、ほらこれ。
Hey, Saya, could you not give me that look while holding a comic like this? A comic like this.
でもこれ、今見たら大したことないね。
Well, come on. You can look through our old trash. Hikari opened it up to the sexy page.
こないだの温泉の時の方がよっぽど過激だったよね。
Well, hey, stop blushing just as at the memory of it. Come on, that was quite embarrassing even for me. And just like I thought, there was no way Hikari could ever be cool and quiet. Well, maybe Noriko doesn't know because she's in a different grade. Well, anyways, back to work. We need to finish this up for today.
はーい。行こうさや。
Okay. And so, our work on the Dobsonian and preparations for the event came together steadily. Okay, so this looks like where the other option will take us eventually. So I'm going to stop here, and I'll show you what happens if I pick the other option, where Akito does give the letter back to Hikari, and then I'll continue from here. So, hold on for a minute. Okay, so here is the beginning of the scene that only plays if I choose the other option. And you can tell it's different because we are starting at the Saotome candy shop as opposed to the house of Akito's grandfather. So let's see how it goes from here. So it's right at the start of 6th grade winter break.
だからダメだって言ってんだろ。
So what's happening?
ねえ、どうしてダメなの？ねえ、ねえ。
So what's wrong? Like, why no? So Takeichi and Corona were arguing out in front of Saotome.
うるせえ。
Well, shut up. No means no. So I wonder if Takeichi gave a reason. Because that at least would not get Corona all upset. So Takeichi first fist came down onto Corona's head.
お兄ちゃんがぶった。
Wah! My older brother hit me!
泣くんじゃねえよ、めんどくせえ。
Come on, that wasn't nice. So Takeichi stood in front of his crying sister, looking frustrated. Well, he shouldn't have hit her. Wait, Corona, are you okay? Okay, so someone else comforts Corona. She turned to me, her sad expression gone as she ran over to me. Well, I'm all better because Aki's here. And looking at her, you wouldn't believe she just been bawling her eyes out moments ago. Well, she was always quick to cry, but quick to perk back up as well.
ねえねえ、聞いて。お兄ちゃんが意地悪するの。
Okay, obviously it's like, hey, look, Onichan's being mean to me. Wait, mean? Okay. So I look over at Takeichi. His face still crossed.
別に俺は悪くねえ。妹なんかと一緒に遊べるかよ。また母ちゃんにどやされる。
Well, I'm sure if it was the parents, it's like, come on, Takeichi, take your sister with you. Just for once. Well, boys our age seem to get into a lot of dangerous situations. It's like, well, it isn't safe for you to go, Corona. And with Takeichi as the head of the local ruffians, he loved doing everything the adults told him not to. Well, I hope it isn't that bad, because it'd be really bad if people catch Takeichi smoking or doing illegal things that you have to be of age to do. Come on, so why don't you just do something Corona can do, too?
嫌だね。ガキどもになんて捨てられるかっての。
Well, that's for sissies, losers.
それよりカード。
Well, anyways, I want my card. So with an air of indifference toward us, he tore into the crunchy chocolate bar he just bought.
また悪魔じゃん。くそ。
Okay, so in this option, once again he gets the devil.
コロナと同じだ。
うるせえ。
Well, shut up. You're not making anything better. He took the cards and tossed the chocolate at Corona. Oh, come on, that's rude.
出るの？
Like, oh, well, you can have it.
やるから絶対ついてくんなよ。
And with that, he just ran off, leaving his sister behind.
秋には行かないの？
So do you want to go then, or are you supposed to go? Nah, I never said I was going to hang out with him anyways.
そっか。じゃあコロナと一緒に遊ぼう。
So you want to play with me then?
遊んでくれるならこのチョコあげる。
Okay, you can have it. He gave it to you.
でも
But still,
出ないと秋にもコロナと遊んでくんないでしょ？
so does that mean that you don't want to go with me then? No, that's not true. I'll go with you, but you don't need to give me chocolates.
やっぱり秋にってば優しい。うちのお兄ちゃんとは全然違うよ。
Well, my brother's always being mean to me. Well, Takeichi was just trying to look out for his sister, but not getting her into anything dangerous. But then again, Takeichi needs to be careful, because I wonder what he's doing that's really dangerous and bad that he can't bring his sister with him. Because it sounds kind of shady. Well, although it seems he did it because he didn't want to make his parents mad. Well, I'm sure they might question what Takeichi is doing behind their shoulders.
秋には買わないの？たっくりマンチョコ。
Well, I will buy it. I went and bought a crunchy chocolate bar from the old lady at the Sao Tome and opened it up.
何出た？
So what do you get? A charm. A home run boost. Oh, come on.
わ、いいな、足りだ。
So in the other option, he got a, I think it was an angel. But anyways, he got one of the better cards. So time after time, Takeichi would leave Corona behind and two of us would hang out like this. But our age gap was pretty big. Well, just 1 year. So it never really grew into anything more than that. Well, I'm sure an age gap of 1 year isn't that bad. Come on. So Akito and most of the people, they're 2 years younger than Orihime, and Orihime still wants to hang out with Akito somehow. Well, still though, she always thought of me as a nice older brother sort of figure.
どれがいいかな。やっぱし可愛いのがいいよね。
Okay, so we're now in present times, and I wonder what Corona's doing. Kurona was seated at the cafe space at the convenience store with a bunch of pamphlets spread out in front of her. And I peeked and saw that they were cell phone providers. So which company is the best out of all these? And they were covered with colorful cell phones, all competing to catch your attention with this or that of a new feature. So I wonder if they're sold according... So I wonder if Kurona's picking a provider or she's picking the actual hardware.
ねえねえアキニちょっといい？確かスマホだったよね。どんなの使ってるかコロナに見せて。
So, can I see your smartphone then? Oh, here you go. So I pulled my cell phone out from my apron pocket and handed it over to her.
なるほど。アキニのはこういうのか。普通だけどなんかかっこいいね。
That's cool though. Well, it was the cheapest one they had.
いいじゃんそれでも似合ってるんだし。
Well, that was probably the first time I ever heard of a phone suiting someone. Well, anyways, are you planning on getting a phone or something? So remember in the old times, they actually styled the phone and they used the case as a way to market its stylish appearance. But of course, now with smartphones, it's just one big screen and some buttons, and you actually use the case to make it stylish and such. And I know, like in the iPhone X and up, they got rid of the home button, and they're using all these other features to substitute for the home button. Well, anyways, as far as I know, she didn't even have a flip phone, let alone a smartphone. Well, I bet she came all the way out here to talk to me about it, even though this place is pretty far from her house.
今交渉中なんだ。クリスマスに買ってもらおうと思ってるの。
So I wonder if Kurona's parents don't want Kurona to have a smartphone. That's why Kurona can't ask them for advice. Well, that'd be pretty sad.
みんなと連絡取ろうと思ったらやっぱし必要だもんね。
Well, now I have a reason to get this phone because I'm part of this big club and that's the best way to stay in contact with everyone in the club. A big group of people.
実はこの前姫ちゃんに連絡先聞かれちゃって。
Oh, so Orihime asked for Kurona's number. Wait, Hime? Wait, who was that? Since when was there someone like that around us?
あのおっぱいの大きい綺麗なお姉さんだよ。
Oh, come on, that pretty girl with big tits. Orihime. I don't know why Akito didn't know that it was Orihime that Kurona's talking about, because even Orihime's name has the word Hime in it. Well, that was pretty easy to figure out once you thought about it. Well, I don't know why Akito needed to think about it in the first place. But I wonder why Kurona called her Hime in the first place.
姫ちゃんって呼んだら喜んでくれたんだよ。これからもぜひそう呼んでくださいねって。
Well, it can mean that they're kind of closer together than before, so they're not going to nicknames, which is one step of becoming friends. Well, that sounds like Orihime for you. Well, she was probably happy to have a younger girl calling her by some cute nickname. So I wonder who came up with that nickname. Was it Kurona or Orihime?
でもやっぱり失礼かな。先輩ってつけた方がいい？
Well, I'm younger than her, so isn't it really bad that I call her with the nickname? Maybe I should address her more formally then. No, it's okay. I'm sure Orihime likes it better. So she says so herself that she liked it, right? There you go.
だよね。
So she smiled and nodded, her face covered in an excited smile. And I'm sure she liked the nickname just as much as Orihime did.
姫ちゃんは姫ちゃんだもんね。これからもじゃんじゃん姫ちゃんと呼ぶことにする。
So Orihime would be sure to get a kick out of it too. The both of them would be pleased. So I think Kurona's still having trouble deciding which phone is fit for her. There you go. So I decided to give her some advice while I cleaned up the coffee server.
違いがさっぱりわかんない。
So they all look the same. So if that's the case, how about this one? Or like, why don't you just pick one that looks good?
それもそうなんだけどね。
But well, look like she cut down to just a couple of options. So at least Kurona was able to narrow down to a few choices. So she had little tags sticking out to mark the phones that she liked.
アキ兄はこっちとこっちどっちがいい？
So how's this one then? So one was a popular model from company A, and the other is a slightly older model from company S. So price-wise S, but if you want more features, A. Well, in my opinion, I think A would be a better choice because even though you pay more, you probably get a lot more features, and it does justify that big price increase. Well, might be a little price increase.
ってことは、アキ兄なら A 社だ。
Okay, so A it is. But for Akito, he's probably more concerned about price, so it's like, well, every single dollar counts, so I'm going to just say S. Well, I'm sure that she was aware of my constant lack of funds. So it's like, well, Akito's concerned from the pricing point. Well, anyways, no matter what you pick, you should be able to use the chat applications. And just trust your instincts.
そうだね。じゃあ直感で選んでみる。
So I think Kurona's going to pick A. And with that, she went back to staring at the catalog. So maybe none, and I'll just look at other stuff. So she seemed really serious about the whole thing.
そうだ、アキ兄。
So she said she just recalled something.
絶対スマホ買ってもらえるように頑張るから。そしたら通話アプリの ID 教えてね。
So if I do get a phone, you better give me your chat ID. Or like your line ID. Sure, no problem. So for Kurona, getting her first smartphone was a big step in becoming part of the group. Well, she's always been like this, really. So speaking of this, what do you do when Orihime asked for your number?
一応家電の番号を教えておいたよ。でも家に電話しにくかったらアキ兄に連絡してって。
Ooh. So it's like, well, I just give my home number. But maybe it's like, well, once I get my smartphone, then you can replace that with my smartphone number. Wait, me? So, not Takeichi?
姫ちゃんがお兄ちゃんに連絡するのなんか嫌だし。
Well, it's like, I don't really like my brother. He's a bad person, and for him to get closer to Orihime, that's a really bad couple, and he does not deserve a beautiful girl like Orihime. Okay, that makes sense.
あんなおっぱいの美人さん、お兄ちゃんにはもったいないよ。
There you go. It's like, well, she's not, or like, he deserves, or does not deserve a beautiful, busty girl like her. Now, that was something I could not argue with. So I'm pretty sure Corona is still upset for all the bad things that Takeichi did to Corona in the past. Like basically beating her up, neglecting her, trying to tell her to scram. But anyways, we're back at the secret observatory base and Orihime's here for some reason. So Orihime moved a heavy looking box to the edge of the platform. So today all available Six Stars Club members had gathered to help clean up our secret observatory. So we were getting rid of a lot of stuff along with sweeping, wiping, and making the place nice and clean. And once that was done, we were going to bring in blankets and cushions and paper cups, plastic dinnerware, and other tableware. And we were doing all this we could make to So we were doing all we could to make this place nice and cozy. It was all in preparation for our big event.
いざ始めてみると結構な量があるわね。
So she wipes her sweat with a handkerchief. And it looked like she was a bit out of breath. It's like, well, I never thought it would be this much work to get this train car cleaned up. Well, you can lift, you can just leave all the heavy lifting to me, you know? I tried to subtly hint that she didn't need to work that hard.
平気よ。これ式の荷物。
Well, it's okay. So I think Orihime was like, well, I kind of feel bad that I'm letting other people do most of the heavy work, so I should contribute something as well. So she tried to flex, but it was hard to make anything out through her coat.
姫ちゃんプニプニだ。
And once again, Orihime, Corona's like, wow, Orihime, all nice.
いきなり揉まないでください。
And Orihime just politely tells Corona, please don't do that. So Corona had stuck up behind her and grabbed her upper arms.
会話だけ聞くとなんかエッチいわね。
So I wonder what's wrong with Hikari now. Well, definitely. So Hikari and I just nodded at each other.
外に出したものは全部処分しても OK でしょうか。
Yeah, well, it's just been sitting here for years anyways.
この箱はこちらに置いても平気ですか？
So box here? Yeah, I'll stack them up. So the way Noriko was holding it, I thought it would be super heavy, but it really wasn't that bad. Well, how that I thought about it, though, I was the only guy here in this whole group.
こっちのやつ捨てちゃっていいか確認してくれる？
Okay, so we're in the train car, and once again, it's messy. So I wonder how much they've cleaned so far. So you want me to make sure. So all this stuff we gathered here was once our secret treasure, but now that we all grown up, it was just a bunch of junk. Well, most of it was random stuff that Hikari had brought in, but there was some of Maya and Sai's stuff too.
こんなにいっぱい集めたんだね。
So the boxes are filled with all sorts of random stuff. And this definitely wasn't done by the methodical Saya. This was all of Hikari. It's like, well, Saya's all organized. She always puts things in order and neat. Whereas Hikari just tosses it in. Oh wow, so remember this? I had forgotten about all this stuff, but the one was enough to bring the memories back. Or like this one.
見てよ。茎化にクヌギのどんぐりばっかり大量に入ってる。
Wait, is this scrap food? That's kind of disgusting keeping it. So, those are sawtooth acorns. And it's super cool.
鬼ヤンマには負けるよ。
Oh, so I brought some nature stuff like acorns and now dragonflies. But I couldn't argue with that. So they couldn't even take down giant hornets. so we had always admired how fierce they were.
見てこれ、アキトがサヤにあげた石だ。
Oh, so the stone that you gave Saya.
懐かしいね。水切りが上手にできる石だっけ？
Yeah, but you tucked it away forever instead, so you never used it.
だっていい形してたんだもん。
Well, it was too special. Okay. The Saya smiled and tucked the stone away. Now then, so what else have we got? Ooh, so what's this? The box was full of some brown something or other.
松ぼっくりだよね。
Pine cones! An entire box filled with pine cones. Wait, so who collected all these pine cones? So this one was definitely Hikari. I thought to myself as my eyes followed after her.
私じゃないってば。さすがにこれは違うし。
Look, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Well, no matter how many you collect, they aren't going to transform into sea urchins, you know. Well, that's a completely different object.
当たり前じゃない。私をバカにしてんの？
Well, maybe that was what Hikari was thinking about many years ago. No. I mean, so didn't you say something like that once? So something like pine cones are the urchins of the mountains, and one day they'll grow and make their way back to the sea. So someone had made a joke like that back when we were kids. Wait, so maybe it was Takeichi or someone else?
それ、私の。
Oh, okay, so they're Saya's pine cones. So Saya held her hand up with an embarrassed look on her face.
この松ぼっくり、サヤが集めたの？ごめんね、よくわかんないことして。
So I'm pretty sure Akito does not believe that Saya would do such a thing, collecting pine cones.
集めた理由わかんないの？
So let me guess. Sea urchins, right? Yeah? Okay, so we had a winner.
おかしいよね。松ぼっくりはウニじゃないのに。
Okay.
いたいけなさやを一体誰が騙したの？
So wait, who could trick our little Saya?
光だよ。
It was you, Hikari. Oh, so it was you. So the legend of the mountain urchins really was another of Hikari's crazy ideas. Then,
全く記憶にございません。でも深く謝罪いたします。
well, I'm sure at this point, Hikari can't talk herself out of it because there's two people that support the idea that Hikari was the one that brought this idea up. So Hikari gave a deep bow towards Saya, and her twin ponytail shook as she did so.
許してくれる？
Well, I'm sorry, can you forgive me?
許す。
Yeah.
私も大好きだよ。光。
So Saya warmly accepted a hug from Hikari. Well, they were just as close as ever. They had a couple years apart, but seeing them here and now, it was like that had never happened.
それでこのウニじゃなかった。松ぼっくりはどうする？
So what do you want to do with these? So there's one problem with pine cones as sea urchins because, well, sea urchins are animals and pine cones are plants. And there's no way these two could be closely related. But then again, that was in the childhood years, so...
アキトくんにあげる。
So how about we give it to Akito? I'm sure Akito does not want all this stuff. No thanks, I'm good. There you go.
サーヤのプレゼントだよ。たとえ泥団子だって美味しく食べなきゃいけないのに。
Well, I'm sure Akito wants something better than pine cones. Oh, come on, give me a break already.
もうしょうがないな。さすがに捨てるのはもったいないし。
But then again, it's good memories, so it's hard to throw this away.
そうだ。いいこと思いついた。
So, what idea does Hikari have? She smiled suddenly like the Hikari that I'd known for so long and headed out of the train.
おーい、コールナー。いいものあげるからこっち来なさい。
Well, I hoped Hikari does not want to throw the pine cones at Corona.
いいものって松ぼっくりだよね。
Well, it really sounds like Hikari wants to throw pine cones at Corona and get her all upset. Well, what a jerk.
コロナ来ました。ねえねえ
Okay, so
何くれるの？
where's the present?
サーヤが丹精込めて育てた山のウニよ。
Okay, and I don't know why Hikari wants to call it mountain urchins.
ウニ？育てたの？
So she wasn't quite the liar Hikari was. Hey, don't fall for that. It's just a bunch of pine cones.
確かに松ぼっくりだ。
Well, I know, but I think Corona already can sense that it's not mountain urchins.
今は松ぼっくりちゃんだけど、大事に育てたら美味しいウニになるんだよ。
Oh, come on. Hikari has to stop this because that doesn't work anymore now that they've grown up.
さすがに諦めなよ、光。
Oh, come on. Just stop it. So Sai just couldn't watch Hikari try to play this off on Corona.
もしかしてコロナを試した。
And now Corona can sense that, something isn't right. I feel like I'm being tricked. And looks like Hikari's cover got blown.
ひどいよ、ピカリ。ただの松ぼっくりにそんな付加価値つけるなんて。
Oh, so you were playing another trick on me again. And I wonder how many times has Corona been fooled by Hikari from all her tricks.
確かに今のはひどいよね。
Okay, Hikari, it's time to stop this.
サーヤ。
Oh, come on, Saya. It was fun. Hikari finally realized that she was on her own on this.
ピカリのバカ！犯罪者って。
Locked up?
だって詐欺だもん。松ぼっくりはウニじゃないもん。
Well, you were deliberately trying to trick me. Corona angrily grabs some pine cones from the box.
なえ！
Okay, so instead, Corona gets to throw pine cones at Hikari. So, okay, so I'll take this as my present, and in return, I'll throw these all at you. So she managed to dodge them, but the pine cones were flying all over the place.
こら、やめなさい。やめてたまるか。うわあ。
So Corona had begun chasing Hikari. It's like, hey, come back here. You get what you deserve.
楽しそうだね。
Really? Are you kidding me? Well, we were supposed to be cleaning, but this was just making a bigger mess. So now someone has to clean up those pine cones on the concrete. Well, if Orihime were to catch up like this...
何をやってるんですか？
So Honoka knows like, hey, what's going on? It was Honoka who found us instead. They didn't say anything else, but just froze in place and watched me pick up all the pine cones. So Akito gets the unwanted job of cleaning up all this mess from Karuna and Hikari. Sorry, those idiots made the real mess.
別に構いませんけど。
Well?
まあまあ、吉岡もそんな顔しないで。
Oh, come on, don't worry. So Orihime came walking in behind her.
それよりも散らかったものを片付けますわよ。
But anyways, let's clean up.
もちろんやってくれますわよね。
So the way she spoke left no room for anyone to decline. So, well, it's really hard to decline someone so sweet as Orihime, so you pretty much have to accept it and do the job.
すみませんでした。ごめんなさい、姫ちゃん。
So now that Orihime's here, both Hikari and Karuna feel sorry for what they have done. So even the two culprits apologize to her. And just like Saya, Orihime was the one person you didn't want to get mad, though in an entirely different way.
反省したのなら結構よ。それより回収したこれは箱ごと処分でいいかしら？
But anyways, we should just get rid of this box. Wait, so let's save these pine cones. Why?
騙されちゃダメだよ、アキニ。松ぼっくりはウニにならないんだから。
Well, I'm sure Akito knows that trick. Well, no kidding, but that's not what I'm talking about. So, dry pine cones are great for building fires, and if we hang on to them, we can probably use them for our first, light event. So newspapers would work fine too, but since we already had all of these, we might as well use them. It's like, well, we could just use these. We don't have to go and look for newspapers. And I'm sure pine cones burn longer than newspapers. But it still doesn't burn as long as actual wood. So it's always good to have an emergency heat source when coming out here at night.
松ぼっくりを焚き付けに全く知りませんでしたわ。
So I like how Akito turns something bad into good. Like, well, even though these are quite a mess, they don't really serve any purpose, but we can use them for something else. Yeah, it's not something most people probably spend any time thinking about anyways. Well, I knew because I run into a tight spot where I need to use them. It was anything to brag about. Well, I'm sure Akito learned all his survival skills for being a mountaineer.
でも私たちに全く無縁の知識とは言えないわ。
That makes
それ
sense.
なのに私は知らないことばかりで。
Well, I'm sure it's true for Orihime because, well, we know. Well, it wasn't really a big deal one way or the other. Well, you'll do fine if you remember from here on out, right?
そうですわね。むつら星の会にはきっと必要な知識ですから。
Well, it's good to know for the upcoming first light and from here on out, too. So the more activities we get involved in, the more everyone will learn.
空見くん、一ついいかしら。
So, may I ask you something? Sure. So what is it?
空見くん、
Um,
あなたはそのいえ、やっぱり何でもありませんわ。忘れてください。
so I wonder what Orihime wants to tell Akito, and she's afraid to say so. So it seemed like she wanted to say something, but without more information than that, there wasn't much point in worrying about it.
アキ兄たちの天文クラブはここで活動してたんだ。
So now Karuna gets to see what's inside the train, and it's quite a mess. So Karuna seemed to take a keen interest in the old train car. While our little clean had already come a long way, and the place didn't bear much resemblance to its older look. But from our picture here, it looks like it's still quite messy, with some stuff left over. And I kind of wonder if it'll be cleaned up to looking like how it was when they first found the train car.
あんたこの前もここに来たじゃないの。あの時は中をちゃんと見る時間なかったから。
Okay. Well, here we were again in our little secret hideout. And this place had been sacred to us, and we had never allowed even Korona to come out here before. So finally coming out here must have been a pretty emotional event for her. Well, I feel like it's more like Korona never really was part of the astronomy group because her parents wouldn't let Korona come out at night. But they do give the older brother Takeichi the permission.
すごいな。
Well, really, it's nothing that impressive. So this place used to seem really cool once upon a time, but these days, I didn't see much more than a rusty old train. It was all busted up and dirty, with winds creeping in from every crack and hole. And the only thing here worth anything at all would have been our observation journal. And compared to that, everything else was just a bunch of junk.
いいな。なんか羨ましい。
But in a sense, I kind of missed a lot. I really wish I was able to come out at night and see what you trio were doing at this place on a regular basis. So you have probably always wondered why we never let her be part of our group, even though we were just a year apart. Well, we never had a satisfying answer for her back then, though.
それでどうすんの？
But anyways, now that you're here, what do you want to do? So Colonel was a bit lost in her thoughts, but Hikari asked her the question anyways.
コロナが決めていいの？
私は昔からそう言ってたつもりだけど。
Well, it's up to you. So Hikari had never been too easy on Corona. She was always telling her to decide things for herself. And it looked like that was something that had not changed.
コロナはやっぱりみんなの仲間に入りたい。
Okay. So I want to be part of your group still. So I wonder how this is going to go, and I'm going to go ahead and stop here for this episode. So it is quite an interesting event. The fact that when Saya and Hikari found some interesting treasure pine cones, there was this really long event about how or why they collected all those pine cones. And I find it quite stupid that Hikari was trying to trick Corona into thinking that the pine cones would grow up into mountain urchins. Well, it worked in the past as little kids, but I'm sure it does not work now. But anyways, we can see on this side of the story, it seems that Corona has been kind of relying on Akito as her support because, well, she has unsupportive parents, and Takeichi's quite a big bully to Corona, and I'm sure Hikari and, well, just Hikari likes to tease Corona a lot. But anyways, I wonder how this side of the story is going to end, and I wonder how it's going to continue going up to the actual first light event. So with that in mind, I will see you in the next episode.